So right now I'm really excited to introduce Conrad, and let's get into it. Everything you need to know about insulated concrete forms. So how long have these concrete forms been around? See, I'm thinking it's brand new, but you're telling me no, it's been around for a while.
Oh yeah, it's not new at all, and yet people are still discovering this. And so ICFs are really 50 years old and more. And
Really?
we started in Canada quite a long time ago, and the inventor was a little bit ahead of his time, and so it didn't really take off as it should have. But I think in the last 15 years or so, we've seen a great surge in knowledge and demand for insulated concrete forms.
Well, Canada seems to be ahead of the US in new technology and high performance homes. And part of it, I guess, is your weather's even harsher than, or as harsh as here we are in Minnesota. And everyone laughs. It's like the worst winters in the country. So how did it develop in Canada? What was the process of it developing, and why is it so popular there?
I think you're right. And like Minnesota, we have so many basements, right? It's very common to have basements. And I saw in your introduction, you were highlighting a home with poured concrete. And so we would have that in almost every home that's built here. And it just made sense for small builders to take on that specialty work, and they can do it with this modular Lego style form. And so they didn't have to hire specialty cribbing crews, and it was something that a smaller builder could take on. And it just grew, it just exploded from there, and especially in the rural areas. Cities were a little bit slower to catch on, but now cities are advancing in leaps and bounds with multi-story apartment blocks, condos, and other things.
Would you explain how the forms work so people know? Number one, what goes into the form? We had a very short conversation before about the sustainability of the concrete block and how the forms are built and how you build with them.
Right. So you can see on your screen, they really do look like a big size Lego block. Our forms are 4 feet long and variable widths for a concrete core. And so, of course, we put concrete inside them and reinforcement in the form of rebar. And then we just really stack them. They have overlapping seams, and they all fit together block on block, and we put in this rebar as we build higher. And we can do basements, but like you see here in this video, this is a house right to the roof. And it's very efficient. It's all 6 steps in one. So we have this insulated form that stays in place, and it has furring strips built into it. They're plastic furring strips. They're actually recycled polypropylene. So we have by weight, a large portion of this block is recycled material. And we also grind up extra blocks and turn them into new materials again. So it's a very efficient and energy green product. And the builder achieves all these steps in one. He's got the studding, he has the vapor barrier, the air barrier, the insulation, and the structural concrete all in one step as he builds.
Wow. Okay. Now I have a gazillion questions for it. The recycled materials, which is a huge deal, and they can be recycled as well. What is the life of the polyfoam?
Yeah, the EPS, expanded polystyrene. It'll stay in place for 100 years and more, and the concrete even longer. So when we're making these products, the intent is for that home to stand for many generations. Contrast that to wood, where we consider an old home to be maybe 50 or 60 years, right? And then it might have rot issues and other issues. And so you build this once, and it's going to last a long time. That is green.
Okay. The other thing is, we're showing the forms going up, but you also pad styrene under the foundation, right?
So Logix brands is not just the walls, and thanks for bringing that up, because we're looking at the entire envelope. There's 6 sides to a home, right? The walls, and then the ceiling and the floor.
Bottom, sure.
Exactly. And so we see new codes in Canada and the US, and people want radiant floor heat. They want insulated concrete slabs. And so we have specialty foams to go on the ceiling and under the floor.
Okay, so when I talked to the Afton, the passive home, they talked about having a 13-inch pad under the foundation. And the builder says, well, You pour concrete onto dirt that's 40 degrees because you're 10 feet underground. So you pour concrete onto that, it's going to be 40 degrees and suck energy all year. So why wouldn't you use a pad?
Right, and if you do energy loss calculations, and if you're familiar with BTUs, for every square foot of concrete on that ground, you're going to lose 28 BTUs. If you put an R10 underneath that slab, it reduces that loss to 2.8 BTUs.
Wow, wow, that's incredible. That really is incredible. Also, you can build these. You can start with the foundations and install basements in the winter. Correct? Pour concrete.
Very good point. Yeah, we don't have to heat and hoard the concrete because it's naturally insulated. So that saves the contractor a lot of money.
Well, I was talking to Rick, who is, your distributor here or your representative here in the Twin Cities. And I said, hey, Rick, can you pour in winter and cold? He said the coldest he's ever poured concrete is 19 below zero and it cures just fine. To me, I was blown away with that.
Yeah, well, I've placed concrete in minus 40 Celsius, which is minus 40 Fahrenheit. So there you go. As long as our pump truck can operate, we can place concrete.
Can you talk about some of the benefits of using ICFs?
Sure. Well, I'm sitting in my ICF house right now, my Logix house, and the comfort is, we can talk about benefits in terms of construction costs and capital costs and all of that. Now, when we're comparing to our wood prices that are current, right. A concrete home is even cheaper than wood. So there's a big benefit. We have a huge push right now from Logix to lumber. It's something we're talking about every day. But then you get into your home and there are comfort elements that we just don't put enough value to. Like this home in the winter is so quiet and so comfortable. Everybody that comes to visit, they just close the door and we have a small fireplace going and we just love to sit here and visit. It really does add a lot of value to the home.
Now, if we're talking about builders too, how long does it take to build comparison to stick built with the ICFs?
Well, both of them can be very fast, stick framing and ICF. But once you're finished that ICF, then you don't have to go back inside and insulate and vapor barrier and all the rest. So if it takes the same time to actually form up the walls and pour them as it does for stick framing, you're ahead by all those steps. We don't have as many subcontractors that need to come in to finish.
I think that's a huge point. The builders face three challenges this year. Always they're looking for land or where they can build or tear down so they can rebuild. Labor is a huge shortage. I don't know about Canada, but we've been having a tremendous shortage and it keeps getting worse, of course. And then wood prices have skyrocketed since COVID. So right. This would reduce the labor cost to the builder.
Yes, scheduling is a big deal because one crew can manage it all. They don't have to schedule with others. And we're training people all the time. We have traditional concrete crews training in ICF and lumber framers training in ICF.
That was my next question. Not just any builder can build with the ICFs. They have to have a different understanding of how to build with them. And you're talking about training. So how do you train people who are interested in building with the ICF? We have training classes online. We do them live monthly. And so it's nice to be able to ask questions live and be part of a large international group. Or we have videos available online. And you can sign up for the classes on our website, logixicf.com.